But we don't show prep, so so he had no idea.
I just barely make it in.
I'm sure you can tell, but we don't show prep.
I mean, let's put the cards down on the table here.
Miami Hurricanes, yeah. You know the name already. It's Mercy, ha ha. It's a 6-Rig Kane show. Can't forget the name though. Got Jazz, Blue, Vision, DJ, break the game code. Ain't no changing them, ain't no breaking them. Real Portland live from the Hard Rock Stadium. Ball 14 for the orange and green. We see the 6-Rig champs. There's more than a dream. This is life on the field. Beyond 100 yards, a hurricane that's never still put a damage to your squad. The 6-Rig Kane show. The 6-Rig Kane show. The 6-Rig Kane show. You know.
What's wrong with us? Seriously.
What's wrong with us? We're Miami Hurricanes fans.
Welcome to the 6-Rig Kane Show, a show dedicated to Miami Hurricane sports, featuring the legendary Larry Bluestein, Jazz Santana, Vish, and Danny Gillette. Let's go Canes.
Welcome back, everybody, to the 6-Rig Kane Show on another beautiful Monday evening here in Miami and in the greater.
We don't know what the weather is. We don't know what the weather is out by DJ. I'm taking it probably a touch colder.
It is
snow on the ground.
Area. All right.
But you know what? This weather here makes men. I don't want to hear about your cushy, warm weather. I'll take the rugged Northeast.
Man, it's cold out here today. It's like 69, 68. Ooh, woo.
Vish, can you boot him off this stream, please?
Bring out your UGG boots.
See you later, Jazz. No,
all right.
I know that's probably not a threat to Jazz, but anyway.
Where's everybody at? We're getting here. We're getting here.
Look, man. We run on Miami time. A few minutes late. You should expect it by now.
We're okay.
We're here.
We are missing
out the parish as well.
We are missing the best quarter of the four horsemen here. Blue, he is out today. He's got a big show too going on. So a lot of things going on. But most importantly, right now, I know every Kings fan is freaking out because that's what we do, right? About the transfer portal. Because if not, it's not like we have other things to worry about or other more important things like the semifinal game in 2 days or in 3 days. Right? Yeah. For a chance to go to the national championship. Yeah, everybody's freaking out and acting like some weirdos and some degenerates over the damn transfer portal. You guys should know. You should know by now. You should have learned your lesson for the past 2 or 3 years already. What's up, overdose? Everybody out here. So, but whatever. We'll get into that in just a second as well, and we'll talk about obviously the big game between Miami Hurricanes and Ole Miss coming up in the Fiesta Bowl on Thursday evening at 7:30. So we'll talk about that. Obviously, it's the biggest game in 23 years for the Miami Hurricanes. So we're really excited about that. Got a lot of things going on. We'll get into it. But before that, let's give a shout out to our sponsor there. It's 305-800-PAIN. After an accident, every minute counts. With one call to 305-800-PAIN, you get immediate access to trusted doctors and attorneys who guide you step by step. With an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau, they are a brand you can trust. Much like 5 Reasons Canes, 305-800-PAIN is focused on the local community of Miami-Dade County and South Florida. They'll handle all your accident needs, including car accidents, personal injuries, and related legal matters. So after an accident, be sure to call 305-800-PAIN. The number is the brand, 305-800-PAIN. Después de un accidente, cada minuto cuenta. Con una llamada a 305-800-PAIN, ustedes pueden obtener acceso inmediatamente a doctores y abogados para ayudar con todo del proceso. Con una clasificación de A+ del Better Business Bureau, pueden confiar en ellos. 305-800-PAIN tienen mucho en común con 5 Reasons Canes. Están enfocados en la comunidad local de Miami-Dade County y Florida del Sur. Ellos pueden ayudar con todo después de un accidente, incluyendo accidentes de carro, lesiones personales y otras cosas legales relacionadas. Entonces, después de un accidente, llama 305-800-PAIN. El número es el nombre de la marca, 305-800-PAIN. Mississippi, boys. Mississippi.
Yeah, I guess real quick, shout out to Mr. Overdose, another regular. I don't know if I think this just dropped the injury report for the game, just came out.
Okay.
So for us, obviously Malik Bryant, Dalen Upshaw continue to be out. OJ is probable, which is good news. Damari Cole McConaughey and Ahmad Moten are questionable.
Beautiful.
That means I mean the Moten being questionable, that one hurts. He's our best pass rushing defensive tackle, and obviously the way that Ole Miss throws the ball, that one's gonna hopefully he can give it a go there.
I know they all practice, which is good to see. I bet you that they will they'll be out there. So I bet we're gonna need all hands on deck for this one. So I know they're it's funny, their initial report shows Caleb Odom, Keywan Lacey, Caden Lee and Keywan Lacey are two of their top playmakers. I know that it shows there as probable for them, which means they're
probably probable means they're gonna play. So they have to. It's similar to the NFL now, where they're required to report any kind of injury. So probable means they're gonna play. They just can't say that if someone's even a little banged up, they have to report it. So,
right. Yeah.
Caden and Keywan Lacey have been probable every week, and they're fine. They're gonna play. All those guys, their list is probable. So really, it's Cam Franklin that's questionable, and then there's 3 guys out for them. But anyone like OJ's going to play for sure. So
yeah. Well, and I know we were all watching that game with the game I'm talking about is Ole Miss and Georgia. Kind of saying, "Oh yeah, we want Georgia to win. Oh man, maybe we want Ole Miss to win. Oh, look, listen. At the end of the day, I think that." What people fail to realize, right? And I kind of wanted to talk about this before we even get into how we feel about the game, is that it's going to be a tough game no matter what. I think people have the misconception that, because we match up better with this team or with that team, I don't really care who we played. It's going to be a tough game. At this point in the season, everybody is damn good. Everybody is awesome. Whether it's Ole Miss, whether it's Georgia, whether it's Alabama, Texas, Oklahoma, I don't care who it is. If you're down to the last 4, you're going to get everybody's best shot, okay? Ole Miss is a good team, but so is Miami, right? So I think that everybody kind of needs to understand that it doesn't really matter who we played, whether it was Georgia or Ole Miss. It's going to be a tough game. So if you're sitting there thinking that someone's going to blow out someone, then I think that you got another thing coming to you, right? So we'll get down into it. We'll kind of go break it down a little bit further, but I just want everybody to realize that this is for a chance to go to the national championship. It's going to be a tough game, man, regardless of what you do. So, regardless of who you play. So, with that being said, DJ, I'll go to you first on this, right? How are you feeling about the game? Would you rather have played Mississippi or Georgia? And what concerns you the most out of Ole Miss at this point as well?
First off, I would have rather played Georgia. I feel like Georgia, and this is kind of stupid for me to say, but this is the only way I know how to describe it. Their offense can be a little bit more stagnant at times as opposed to Ole Miss. Now, granted, they scored a boatload against Ole Miss, but I feel like in terms of, a pro-style type of game and a pro-style type of team, strong running backs, good pocket passing quarterbacks, good receivers, I felt like we matched up a little bit better with Georgia. And I'm not going to get too far into it because we will get into it, but I just feel like the fast pace Ole Miss offense and the slipperiness, if that's a word, of Chambliss combined with the skills that Kawan Lacey brings to the table may present a little bit more of a tough matchup. But as you said, at this point in the season, they're all tough matchups. So, I mean, you kind of got to pick your poison. But honestly, in terms of just style, I would have rather faced Georgia.
I'm sorry, really quick. I kind of want to reply to what Luckbuck said there. It's easy to put up points until you have to play defense. Look, man, Ole Miss has played some really, really good defenses throughout the season. If you're sitting there thinking that they haven't, they put up 30 to 40 points on everybody. Doesn't matter who they play, right? They put up numbers, and that's what they do. They score, right? They run a tempo offense. That's obviously stuff that we're gonna have to deal with, right? And
I don't think Ole Miss is one-dimensional either.
No, and at all, right? Right? They just run a tempo offense, whether it's running the ball or throwing the ball. Everybody knows the key to the game is to make sure you get Chambliss down, right? Everybody, we pretty much know we're gonna get to him. The problem is he's slippery, as you mentioned, DJ. Getting him down on the ground, okay, not letting him extend plays too much. He's gonna make his plays. And then Kewan Lacey, right? He's a hell of a running back. He's probably be a first or second rounder. So those are guys that you really have to stop. That's obvious. They know it. We know it. Everybody knows it. Now we just have to execute and play football. I think at this point, thinking that it's going to be a low-scoring affair, I think is something that we all wish, but I doubt also. Vish, what are your thoughts on this game and who you prefer to play and so on?
Yeah, I mean, going into that game, I would have said I'd rather play Ole Miss for sure. Afterwards, like now that we've kind of dug a little bit more into Ole Miss, it's harder to say. They are different than the teams we've been playing. I know at this point, I mean, we might find out if the Canes play Indiana in the championship game, but I think in these physical matchups, basically just two heavyweights punching each other. The Canes outpunched Ohio State and Texas A&M, and I think they could have outpunched Georgia. This is just different. Doesn't mean it's going to be more difficult. It's just different. So there's that variability there that Georgia would have showed up again. It's like another similar to Ohio State, similar to A&M, strong on the lines, going to run the ball, play slow, similar to how we do, except we're just better at them teams. So
right, it's like a mirror image of us. Maybe we're a little bit better.
Yeah,
and that's why we won the first. So it would have been a third game like that. On the other hand, I'd say in a vacuum, I would think Georgia's a better team than Ole Miss if you go back to that game. I mean, there's so many wild swings in it, including, obviously Ole Miss had the fumble that was returned for a touchdown, but Georgia handed them a touchdown by that weird where they miscommunicate on fourth down. I don't think they intended to snap it, and they snapped it, and Stockton just got nailed because no one blocked it. That Ole Miss scored 2 touchdowns in 2 minutes because of that, and that ended up being the lead that Georgia spent the rest of the game, making up, and then obviously gave up the bomb inexplicably, didn't have safeties back on 3rd and long in that 2 minutes. So there's a lot of weirdness in that game. So I'm more on the fence. I will say that, and actually good job, Anders. Got right to the point I was going to make. I do like the fact, there's got to be some kind of,
I guess
negative impact.
Everybody but
well, no, I'm not saying it's necessarily going to cause them to implode, but when you've got our assistant coaches are spending every second they're not sleeping game planning Ole Miss. There are guys who drive into Baton Rouge and like making phone calls to recruits and having team meetings at LSU and then going back to that's less than ideal. There has to be some, I don't know how big the effect is, but I'd rather have them doing that than game planning us. So I'm sure a lot of people point this out, but this is a new staff for them. This is their 3rd game, but this is the first time they're actually game playing a new opponent. They played Tulane and Georgia in the regular season. This is a new challenge for them, and they are partially distracted. They're not on campus, a lot of their assistants, and they're doing 2 jobs at once while we're just hyper focused just on Ole Miss. I do think that gives us an advantage there. I also think, to be blunt, like they promoted the defensive coordinator off of a team whose defense isn't very good. I know he's the belle of the ball now that they beat Georgia, but I mean, let's put it this way: if Mario went to the NFL, would you like, oh yeah, let's hire that guy? I don't think so, right? And so I do think there are some advantages there for us that obviously facing Kirby Smart, who's a multiple-time national champion, has his team in the top 5 every year, is very different than this. So maybe none of it matters, and Ole Miss just puts up 70 points. We're like, shit. That team can really play offense, right? I don't know.
That could happen too.
There's a lot of unknowns there. We haven't played that team since 1951, so there's a lot of unknowns here. But just like reading I'd rather have a coaching staff with a guy who just got promoted and a bunch of their assistants doing 2 jobs and having Kirby Smart stability, having been in this situation a million times. If you ask me who I'd rather face, would be Ole Miss's staff.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But that's not disrespect to them because I think their offense is fantastic. So I mean, I think we're gonna.
I don't think they're gonna.
Yeah, it's just like you're asking between, as you said, Jazz. Everyone is good at this stage, so we're picking like which of the good teams would we rather face. I'd rather play Bethune-Cookman if I'm being honest.
Oh man, ain't that the truth, man? There's a lot of things, and it's funny, man. You guys are firing it today, and on the chat, 2 biggest games are Oklahoma and Georgia. They lost to Georgia and beat Oklahoma by 8. Yeah, if Miami didn't have Heatherman, I'd be nervous. Look, that's a good point, Luck. Right? Like we're talking Ole Miss, and look, credit to them. They're a good team, man. They score points. They got a great offense, right? Their defense is not great, but they still got some players on that side, right? They got that kid Eccles. They got some guys that can play a little bit, right? So you don't want to underestimate them either. But at the same time, you have to think, right? Number one, obviously with Coach Heatherman, the way that he can scheme up some things, he's going to have to, because Chambliss is a real deal, right? So you're going to have to scheme up some things to be able to try to contain him a little bit. But you'd have to think that those trenches belong to Miami on both sides of the football. And that's where Miami needs to win this game, as they had to last week and the week before, right? You got to win in those trenches. You got to be able to get to Chambliss, and you got to bring them down. And that tempo, as great as it is, right, Vish? And I'll go back to you on this really quick. I know we got a lot of things to cover, but I'll go right back to you on this. As great as that tempo is, it could also be a detriment to them, right? Because if you get them in that tempo and they go 3 and out, right? Then they really haven't been on the field much, right? And now you bring in a team like Miami who likes to run the clock, play a little bully ball. If we can run the football, they give up 151 rushing yards. 151 rushing yards per game. If you can run the football, which I fully expect Miami to run the football and take some time off that clock and score some touchdowns, then you got an opportunity to really, really, win this game and dominate the trenches and do exactly what we've been doing all the playoffs. I know a lot of people want to mention the FSUs that ran tempo and USF. This is not FSU. This is not USF, fellas. This is Ole Miss, right? This is a different ball game. They've got some tricky wide receivers. They got some good players, but at the same time, why are we all of a sudden now freaking out when we've been able to come out there and play the number 2 team in the country, the number 10 team in the country, right? We've been able to dominate. And I know this is a different type of offense, but let's put some trust in our team and our coaches and what they've been able to do all season already to be able to go out there and scheme up a great plan to be able to beat these guys. Fully confident in what we're going to be able to do against Ole Miss. I think that we're going to have to score points because they're going to score some points. Okay. But at the end of the day, I think this team knows how to win, especially late in the fourth quarter when you can beat someone up. If you get the ball and you hold that tempo, maybe you give them a couple 3 and outs in a row and you score some points. Now you got an opportunity where they're going to be rushing. They're going to be, it's a different ball game, right? It changes the way they play, even their tempo game. So there's a lot of things that can go into it. So I'm fully confident in the way that our defense is going to be able to handle that tempo. Are they going to take their bumps and bruises? Are they going to give up some points? Sure. But I think Miami has every opportunity to be able to score some points as well against a defense that's not great, as you mentioned, Vish.
Yeah, I do think it's an interesting challenge, right? Because to your point, and DJ and I talked about a little bit about this on a previous show, but when the tempo gets more difficult as they start stringing first downs together. If you create negative plays, they can't really tempo off of that. If you get 3 and outs, you get the ball back in 15 seconds. Like it can really, like you said, be a negative if the team can get off the field. If they get 1 or 2 first downs and everyone's grabbing their knees and huffing, and then it becomes, it's very feast or famine in that sense. But the other thing is the Canes do the opposite, right? We play slow, we pound the rock, we incrementally move the ball down the field on these long drives. When you play a team like Ohio State that then does the same thing, tries to do the same thing back to you, it just shortens the game for both teams. It's important for the Canes to get out in front here because it's very uncomfortable to essentially do what Ohio State did in the second half of that game. But they came out down 14. I'm like, we need to drive this ball down and score. And they did. They got a touchdown. It took them 8 minutes. Then they got the ball back again. They did it again. It took them 6 minutes. They've wasted half of the time left they need to come back. They only got the ball one more time. They didn't score and the game was over. So you got to be very careful, like switching tempos. We can't just play slow all the time. You got to play the situations. If we fall behind, there's certainly a team that the Canes can put points up on and come back on. But you can't be down 2 scores and then like playing slow and running the clock and running all the timeout that you need to come back. So now if you get in front, that's a completely different story, right? That's then you can really eke it out because then the other team starts to feel it. But you got to play game situations here because when you're behind, you need more time on the clock, not less. So it's a trickier one. I don't anticipate Ole Miss ever slowing down, regardless of the situation. But the Canes can play at multiple speeds. They have gone tempo at times this year, and they're going to need to mix that in too. If the situation dictates it. So kind of getting up, if they get up to a fast start, like you said, John, if they force a couple of 3 and outs, score some points, and they're up, then it's very easy to say, we're going to pound this ball down your throat and get 4 yards of carry and just walk this down in the end zone, take 10 minutes off the clock, and you're dead. But if you're behind doing that, that's not a good thing because you're literally like one holding penalty away from being fuck. We just wasted 8 minutes and we didn't get a touchdown. So you got to be careful with that. In fact, Ohio State converted that big 4th down against us for the touchdown to Jeremiah Smith. If they just throw an incompletion on that, the game was basically over because they ran the clock out. And so you gotta. It's a lot. It's a trickier team than with both teams playing the same pace, but there's also a lot more opportunity for the Canes to score a lot more points than they have. So that's the glass half full part. Like they should be able to score more points on this team.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously that's the name of the game at the end of the day. So I think Miami's got a good opportunity to do that. As we mentioned before, Ole Miss in total defense is 41st, pass defense 31, and rush defense 65. So again, there's an opportunity there, right? There's opportunities to run the football really well, to set up some passing situations where they could maybe potentially push out the ball down the field. This team is not like the OSU, like the Ohio State defense, right? So the Ohio State defense is not going to take as many chances because they're good. It's a really good team, so they can play the way they want to play, right? Which they took away that deep pass. They took away those passes up the middle, the seam routes. They took away a lot of that, and they made us play more methodical, more dink and dunk, more running the football, and it just so happens we're damn good at that as well. So I think that if Ole Miss takes some more chances, there's more opportunities for Miami to make some big plays and score on defense as well. That's the question, DJ. Is this a game where the Canes can get out there and make some explosive plays again, being that this defense is going to try to be a little more aggressive or maybe try to take more risks because they don't have the skill guys like an OSU or a Texas A&M?
That's a really good question, and I don't have a straightforward answer for you because you have to be on offense. I think you kind of have to be not conservative, but calculated in what you do as well, right? Because if you have a turnover or an interception and you give the ball back to Ole Miss, then you're kind of playing into their hands more so due to the fact they play fast and tempo and the whole 9 yards. I mean, so this could be an opportunity for them to kind of open things up, but at the same time, you don't want to be cautious, but calculate, I guess is the word. You want to be calculated. I do think that, a player like Malachi Tony will have, an even better game, and you can have the opportunity to throw to him, maybe 7 or 8 times a game, and not have to worry about the defense necessarily keying on him and shutting him down, like in Ohio State or Texas A&M. The Ole Miss defense is not at that level, so I do think you can open it up a little bit there. But I think, same thing goes for the running game. I think you could maybe bring in more backs. Like, I was really impressed with what Shamar Brown was able to do, kind of come in cold off the bench and make impact plays. So I do think you can kind of mix and match personnel as you see fit, perhaps more so than you could in the other games, due to the nature of the defense and the risks that they may take and not succeed, therefore giving you more opportunities.
Yeah, really quick answer to this. I don't know if they turn the ball over much, but their turnover ratio, they're like a minus something. They're not great in their turnover ratio, whereas Miami is really good when it comes to that turnover ratio. But I will say this, and Vish, to DJ's point, yeah, will they be calculated? Yes, but I don't think now is the time to hold back, right? Dawson has to call the game that he's always called. He can't switch it. He can't screw around, for lack of a better expression. He can't screw around and try to do too many different things, right? Run your little trick plays, run your offense. But I think you will see in this game, though, Vish, is, we talk about that inside run game, but I think you're going to see a lot more Pringle, because you're going to have to run it. You're going to have to be multiple in your running schemes. You're going to have to be diverse in the way and dynamic, in the way that you run your offense and call your plays and all that. I think you're going to see, this is not a game where you have to necessarily just win by playing bully ball as far as running the ball north and south only, right? I think you're going to get Pringle involved, and there's an opportunity there because he's so skilled, he's so quick, he can get out there. You're going to have to run it out there because you got that big boy Echols in the middle, right, that can clog it up a little bit. You're going to have to run it out there. Do you see them using more sets, more different sets, multiple running backs, as DJ said, right? And not only Marty Brown, but Pringle as well. Mixing, again, continue to do the Matty Cat. That's how they call it. They don't call it the Wildcat. It's the Matty Cat. And things like that, to be able to spread them out a little bit. And that's where you can then hit them up the middle.
Yeah, I don't know, because I think what we've seen, the Texas A&M, because the wind took away any ability to throw, it kind of became a little bit weird from a play calling standpoint. But I think we've seen a team that if they can run the ball between the tackles successfully, they're just going to eat in that spot of the field. And I think they can do that here. So I don't, we're talking about, are there other opportunities? Sure, but I've not really seen them when the A gap and B gap is working. I don't really see them deviating from that. It's been a long time since that hasn't worked. So I think they'll only kind of look. There are just if you rewatch the game, especially if you look at the Skycam views on some of that, there are shot plays that he's calling left and right out of the passing game. Now those are, again, Carson Beck's become very comfortable in this offense. They recovered, but we were sending people deep and trying to take shots in Ohio State and A&M we weren't, because you might as well just punt at that point with that wind. But A&M, we did send receivers deep. They were dropping safeties back, and Beck was hitting the underneath throws or running. But we were very successful running in between the tackles, and I think if we're doing that, I don't know they'll necessarily deviate from it. I think they're very comfortable to be patient with that, and which is something I don't think was necessarily the case early in the year. Like, I felt like against Louisville especially, that was there, and we didn't stick with it, and we kept taking shots deep and throwing it in the coverage, throwing interceptions. I think they've adjusted that. I think if they're running in between the tackles, they're going to keep doing that. I do think there'll be more explosive plays in this game offensively, just generally. But I don't know if it's going to be necessarily feeding it to Pringle to get that. I just think I think the passing game will be more explosive.
I just think eventually that line is going to take over. Our offensive line is just too big and too powerful for their defensive line. I know Echols is good, but I think you can still bully them a little bit. And regardless of what you do, I think that if you run it efficiently and you execute, you're gonna score. You're gonna score a lot of points. I think you're right on, Vish. I think it doesn't really matter. You don't deviate too much from your running game, but you saw them incorporate that that style of and Pringle runs up the middle too. He's not afraid to go up the middle. But if he can bounce it outside, he's been able to do that a little bit and get some yards that way too. I think that sets up some nice play actions, some opportunities to be able to go down the field as well. So what is orange and green? Let's see here. Everybody's talking about our O-line, our D-line, our run game, passing weapons. And all I hear about Ole Miss is QB scramble. Well, I mean, we haven't even gotten there yet, but I will tell you this. I know a lot of people think that we face some good scrambling some good tempo quarterbacks, or that we face some good tempo teams. And sure, I mean, look, Byron Brown was good at USF, but Chambers is a little bit different. He's probably the best quarterback, and this is probably the best offense that we've seen all year, and that's okay. Again, like I said, if we were facing a terrible team, then this college playoff would be in some serious shit, right? We're facing one of the top teams in the country. But we're one of the top teams in the country also. And so I think it's just an opportunity for our coaches to go out there and scheme correctly and go out and execute and win this ball game. So I'm not too concerned about that. I mean, they play in shootouts. You're probably going to have to get in a little bit of a shootout per se here. But at the end of the day, I think our trenches makes the plays that we need to make. I see here, do we have the patience to stick with the run? I absolutely think we do, Vish. I think that we've shown it, that even in a game like Ohio State, where they came back and scored 2 touchdowns and got real close to us, we didn't panic, right? We kept running the football. Actually, that's when we ran the football even better. And so I fully expect us to continue to lean on what's gotten us here, and that's power run. Finding some open receivers, be able to exploit some of that stuff on the outside and just run the football and wear them down, and be able to get some explosive plays here and there with a defense that might be able to, might take some more risks. I fully expect us to be okay with that. So I am very excited to see what this game.
And Dawson has made a point, and I think in both his play calling and in his media availability, is to focus on making sure we stay out of 3rd and long, which lends itself to running on 1st down, maybe even 2nd down, and staying in manageable down and distance. So I think that, we're gonna run. I mean, we're a running team. We're gonna run the football. We built this team inside out for a reason. Like, it started with the trenches. It's been a multi-year process to get to the point where we can show up to a semifinal game against another top 4 team and say, yes, we can shove them out of the way and run the ball down their throat. So
we did kind of talk about this.
You're not gonna go away from that, though. You're not gonna go away from that now. Like, it's brought us here. You just shoved Ohio State out of the way. You're not gonna look at Ole Miss and say, well, we can't do that. Let's try something different. So we're gonna try it. If they stop it, then we got to have counters to that.
Right. Because
again, they're a really good football team. So anyone think it's gonna be easy or whatever, it's not. But obviously, we're gonna try and execute our game plan. And that is running first.
Pretty sure that we all spoke about that at the beginning of the season, right? This team is going to be different. We're going to be able to score some, but we're going to run the football a lot better. We're going to run the football a lot more, and that's going to be our identity. And it's held steady throughout the year. So I fully expect us to continue to do that. But on the other side of the football, right? And this is the question for everybody. Yes, Ole Miss does have the number 2 total offense in the country. They're number 3 in pass offense and number 37 in rush offense. So Kewan Lacey is a very good running back, so that's number 37 there. I think it's just because they throw the football a lot. They're not a one-dimensional team by any stretch of the imagination. They do run the football, and they run the football quite well. I guess we've talked about this a little bit already as far as tempo, but it's a 2-part question, and we'll start with you, DJ. How do the Canes deal with the tempo of Ole Miss, and are you concerned with Trinidad Chambliss? Right, a lot of people don't seem to be. I don't want to say that I'm concerned with him. I just think that he's someone that you really have to be able to game plan for and scheme. So, what's your take on that?
I think the second part of your questions is a little bit easier to answer than the first, because nobody's really been able to slow down Ole Miss yet. I am concerned with Trinidad Chambliss, not because I think he's going to put up 500 yards against Miami, although that may happen given how fast their offense goes. But he's just a dynamic quarterback. And the one thing that I noticed in their game against Georgia was his ability and his wide receivers' ability to be on the same page when he escaped those tackles and began to freelance, as I like to call it. They seemed to be very cohesive, and they knew where Chambliss was going. The receivers knew where Chambliss was going, and Chambliss knew where to find his guys and kind of make his reads on the run. In that way, I'm a little bit concerned just because, and we kind of talked about this a little bit earlier, if you don't wrap him up the first time, that gives him the ability to freelance. Then the receivers, who are also very good, I can't remember, I think it's Strickland and someone else, two very good receivers for Ole Miss who
Wallace, right? Wallace, the other one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Caden Lee as well.
Yeah. So three, actually, really good receivers who played well last game. Two of them had over 100 yards. I am a little bit concerned just because he can freelance and because him and his receivers seem to have really good timing against a tough Georgia defense last week, especially. So I am a little bit concerned. Yeah.
Vish, you want to answer this question that Luckbuck just wrote? Because I know you got it. No. Miami has the best defensive line in the country, period.
Yeah. No, there's multiple NFL players in this defensive line. I will say it does take a hit if Moden can't play. There are Blay and Scott have been playing excellent, but that it does hurt. Not having Moden if he can't play it will hurt. But no, Georgia's not on the level of Miami defensive lineman.
Vish is going to Glendale, so you'll see him out there.
Yeah, I'll be out there.
Mr. Overdose, everyone is dangerous. He also throws safety valve to tight end. Yeah, I'm saying they utilize everything in their offensive weaponry. So Charlie Weiss is junior, not to be mistaken with his father.
His father is also pretty damn good, so I see where he gets this from.
His father was pretty good, yeah. Is a very good player.
College.
No, I was thinking of more Patriots, not college.
I think that what's most important, I think, is something that Vish talked about earlier, right? And that's he's doing two jobs right now. And I think it's only him and Kevin Smith. Everybody remembers Kevin Smith from his short stint with the Hurricanes here. He is the running backs coach for Ole Miss, went back over there. He's going to Ole Miss. He's going to LSU with Kiffin as well. They're all going, but only him and Weiss, I believe, are coming back to coach this game. Everybody else is coaching at LSU already. I don't think anybody else is coming back. So I think that's where Miami could potentially, wear them down and get and get Weiss to make a mistake here or there. So we'll see. But yeah, our defense, it's obviously it's probably the best defense that Ole Miss has faced. I know Oklahoma's a damn good defense also. And LSU is a damn good defense, and Georgia, but I think Miami has the nod a little bit on all of them. And so this is going to be a test.
This is the semifinal, but these are both the best teams the other team has played.
Yeah, bottom line.
like we I know it's been 20-something years since we've reached these stages. You're literally playing the best of the best. Everyone's played teams that are worse than the team you're currently playing. The old joke, this is the biggest game of the season for this week. And that was both these teams last week, and they won. So now it's the bigger game against a better team. That's right. The way these things work. So when you ask, are they battle tested? Yes, to the extent you can be, just like we are to the extent we can be.
Right.
But no, Ole Miss is better than Ohio State. Just an example. They made it further. And because the interesting thing now with these conferences so big is you don't really know who's good. Like, if you put up these records, they play completely different schedule. Like, Ole Miss's schedule itself, a little bit more mixed. Oklahoma and Georgia were playoff teams in the regular season. They went 1-1 against those, and they beat Georgia in the playoffs. But just because they, maybe hit some weaker opponents, I guess Tulane was also a playoff team if they play in the regular season.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean they're not really good, right? It's hard to tell. Like when throwing it back to DJ's neck of the woods, when the Patriots were winning the AFC East every year, the Jets, Bills, and Dolphins were dumb. Like they were going to win that division in sleepwalking, but then they would go on and win the Super Bowl. Like they were actually the best team too.
Right.
So people tend to correlate like, oh, you played a weak schedule, you're not good. No, that doesn't mean that. You just beat the crap out of teams, which Ole Miss did quite a bit of this year. So, they're a really good team. They're one of the 4 best in the country. And so, yeah, they haven't played anyone like Miami. We haven't played anyone like them. Yeah, so we can have Orange. I know this is one of the questions we're talking about. Their tempo. A couple of things. One is you got to line up early. So it can't be trying to force a sub while they're going tempo. You'll get caught subbing. Anytime they huddle, you need to sub. That's when you get your fresh legs out there. Get off the field on third down is big because, again, when they start
that's probably the biggest one, right? Get off the field on third down.
That's the biggest one. It's also strategically subbing early in the game, too, even when guys aren't tired yet. This is one of the things Heatherman actually talked about against FSU. You say they didn't sub enough, and that's why by the fourth quarter, it kind of gassed. Man, you saw they had more success in the fourth quarter than the rest of the game. So he said he'll sub more. I think he will. But that's why even in the first quarter, if they huddle after the first play, go ahead and run some subs out there. Every rep you save is one you can use later. So just subbing judiciously and get off the field on third down. Also, force incompletions. And they throw those, like they do a lot of the quick passes into the flat and all that stuff. If you tackle them for 2 yards, that's fine. They can tempo off that. When you knock the ball away, it's incomplete. They can't. So there's those subtle things.
Throws, and that's all about getting to Chambliss, right? Bring them down, force some errant throws, make him throw the ball early. Things like that. He'll make maybe he'll make some. He doesn't throw a lot of picks, but maybe he'll make a mistake or two. And you can capitalize off of that stuff, Yeah,
and it's way up in the chat. I don't know who talked about, making sure our defenseman is very important that they maintain lane integrity. You cannot let him get outside the tackles.
Right.
Not only is he explosive doing that, which we saw last week, and if you watch any of their film you've seen all year, that also tires your defense out more. Your defenseman's chasing this dude around the field is going to wear you out a lot faster. That he got lane and gap assignment responsibility is going to be critical. We didn't do a great job in the first half against A&M with that. We did a much better job in the second half when we adjusted and kind of went a little bit more vanilla in our pass rush, actually, and left the spy in the first half of that game. For recall, we were doing a lot of linebacker blitzing, a lot of stunting. Those do open up run gaps for the quarterback. So interesting to see if we approach it a little bit more vanilla, a little bit more, stay in your gap.
Stay in your lane. Yeah, stay in your gap. Stay in your lanes and spy him a little bit, and you'll be able to hold
keep him in the pocket. Keep him in the pocket. Yeah. Now he is going to get the ball out quick. They're one of the quickest teams that they get in the ball.
Yeah, they got some guys with some speed and athleticism on the outside.
Right, but the explosives come when he extends the plays. So if you keep him in the pocket, force him to get it out quick, you are limiting their offense a little bit.
Yep. That's what it is. That's what it's all about right there, baby. Let's see what else we got here. I guess we could talk about our predictions, right? I mean, at this point, it's.
Yeah, I think we've kind of talked through.
It is what it is. You're playing the best team that you've played. They're playing the best team that they've played. May the best team win. They go out there and execute. And I think Miami has a great opportunity to make it to the national championship game. And that's all we can do. That's all we can do. And stay focused on it, right? Like don't get all in your head about this game and freak out and all that stuff, right? I mean, we're here. What else did you expect? We're gonna play a hell of a team. We're gonna get their best. They're gonna get our best, and let's go get it. Let's go get that dub. That's it. DJ, predictions, man, because you let me down last week, and I'll let it go right now. This is a new week, and we made it through.
Well, good. I'm glad now.
None of those shenanigans anymore. All right.
Good. Now I can sleep well at night. No, but I do have Miami winning this game.
Okay.
Honestly, Miami 45-32.
Ooh, okay. So you do have it as a shootout. Nice.
Yeah, this is not going to be a game of defense at all.
Nice. What about you, Vish? Are you as bold as DJ?
I think it'll be lower scoring than DJ has it. Not low scoring, though. I have the Canes winning 31-20.
31-20.
I think they'll hold Ole Miss. I think Georgia held Ole Miss to some field goals. I think the Canes can do that. If you look at, Georgia basically gifted them 7 points with that ridiculous big whatever the hell that was they were doing, because they didn't even run the fourth down correctly. Like, it's one thing to go for it, it's another thing to snap the ball when half the team thought you weren't going to snap it and just basically give them a touchdown. And then the safety on that kickoff where they tried to lateral it, they got to 39. I think the Canes defense is better than Georgia's. I think they can hold. I think it's the best defense Ole Miss has played. A few teams have held them to 24 points. I think the Canes can do better by forcing field goals. The other thing, Ole Miss definitely has a good kicker. I think,
they got a great kicker.
Well, they got a good kicker, but he's also missed several. He's missed 3 kicks over 40 yards this year, so he's not automatic. And he had a great game in the last game. I'd be a little cautious about going to that well. They kicked a 55 and a 56-yarder. That was 6 of their points. I'm not so sure he's going to be making that many of those types every week. So, I think a little bit of caution on that. It's not. He's not.
Now they're playing outdoors, right?
No, they're not. That's indoors.
Oh, it is indoors. You're right. It's a different stadium now.
It's indoors on grass, though, which is a little bit more difficult to kick than on turf. So,
that's right.
But I think when you look at how they scored those points, that was 6 of the points. 7 was again on the short field off of the stupid play by Georgia. 2 was a safety when Georgia lateraled against the pylon. You start unpacking that 39 number. You can definitely hold them into the 20s, I think.
Yeah. Okay. So you got 31-20.
Yep.
Okay. I got 31-27.
Ooh, okay.
I think it's 31-20, and they march down. They get one. They try to do some sort of onside, and we get it. We get it. Or we get the last second. No, that's the way I like it.
Don't do that to me, Jazz. I can't be.
No, 31-27 Miami.
I don't need us having to drive to win the game with 30 seconds left.
Miami gets it. Go 31-27 Miami.
I want this pick. I'll take this from Orange Grapefruit. Give me this.
Take that ass whooping.
I want that. I want a low stress. The old ticker's gotta get through 2 more games, or I could use one that's not. Parrish has it as 35-24, Pitt down 28-20. I'll take any of those. I'll even take Jazz's.
Actually, I don't know if I want
shitting my pants while I kick an onside kick.
As long as we win the game, who gives a crap, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. But I would like to win.
Or even the end of the Georgia game where they had to re-kick the onside kick because there was 1 second left on the clock.
I did learn a rule, so that was good.
That was so obnoxious. I didn't
realize that by rule the clock doesn't run if you down an onside kick while you're on the ground. Who knew?
The best part was that they rolled out the stage and then they had to keep putting the stage back because
they earned their keep that night. That's for sure.
They did. They did.
Well, Ole Miss definitely didn't know the rule which I learned too during that game, which is, if an onside kick is recovered while you're on the ground, by rule, the clock does not run at all. Because they just let that thing bounce around thinking once they touch it, the game's over. That's not the rule.
I know. It's so weird.
I didn't know that either.
The guy came on, the rules analyst came on. He's like, by rule, they are not allowed to run the clock. So there's definitely 1 second left. And I'm like, really? I assume they touched it. The clock has to run.
I don't know. Oh, by the way, Look Buck says here, knowing that they're going to play for a natty will motivate them. Look, if you're not motivated by now, you don't deserve to be playing. And the good thing,
I don't think motivation's a thing. I think both teams are gonna. I mean, look, again, we are so close
at this point.
But when you think about how we feel now, imagine the players, their entire lives leading up to this point, from Pee Wee football to this.
If you're not pumped,
no one on any of these 4 teams is gonna have a motivation issue. This is, but they weren't there. If you think about all the Pee Wee football practices all the way through middle school, high school, all the scout team in the spring, all that stuff to get to this moment. Motivation's not is not an issue for any of these teams. Like, to get to this level of football, the amount of work these kids have put in, and then they're this close to it. Like, the motivation will be there. The question is it overwhelm you the most?
Right.
It's usually not a motivation thing that has things go wrong here. It's more of just the stage gets too big.
I fully trust my boy Mario to make sure that he keeps everybody.
I think we'll be fine. I think this is again where, the safest and the lowest stress thing you can do in football is turn around and hand the football. And if there are nerves early and nervous energy, which there will be, if you notice most of these games settle in, it's like 0-0 for a while because teams are kind of a little bit jittery.
If you're not nervous to play a game like this,
right,
then you're not ready to go. You're not ready.
Yeah. But with that being said, it is much easier to handle nerves when you're just running the football.
Sure. Once those shoulder pads do this, that's it.
Yeah, but throwing the ball around the quarterback's got a little bit of jitters. Sounds a little bit. The receiver drops it because there's a little shake. A lot more can go wrong. I mean, we saw that happen with the Canes. Carson Beck's first throw missed Fletch, and the second one Marion kind of could have caught and didn't, which I feel like if that was in the third quarter, both those throws hit, right? It's just
right.
So the ability to run the football again.
If you hit those early, watch out because Carson Beck.
Yeah, the ability to run the football is the big equalizer in sports.
And we got that too. So I'm happy. I'm excited about that. So I'm ready to go. We'll check in really quick with the transfer portal. It looks like Brock Schott, who did transfer out, signed with Indiana, or is going to sign with Indiana.
Yeah, no, he announced he is. So I don't know if it's official yet.
Chance Robinson and Dante Simpson are in the portal. Simpson looks like he's got some good prospects. I think Texas, Tennessee, Illinois, some of those. Washington, I think, was another one. So, and yes, the biggest question for everybody, right, is do the Canes have anybody at kicker for next year? No, I'm just kidding. It's obviously the quarterback situation. I will say this. Vish and I were talking about this before the show started, right? We were in the same spot last year, okay? And all of a sudden, Carson Beck pops up. Here's what I will tell you. Can everybody chill the hell out? We are playing for a national title opportunity. We're playing in the semifinals of the college football playoffs. Can we focus on that? Relax with the transfer portal. Everybody's so damn worried. Oh my God, it's the end of the world. We're playing to go to the national championship, everybody. Relax. Focus on that. Focus on your energy, on your good vibes and everything towards that game. Forget about the damn transfer portal for a couple of days. Okay? Trust me when I tell you this. Miami is doing work, right? They're getting it done. They're taking care of the transfer portal. They have visitors. They've got quarterbacks coming in. They've got receivers and running backs and ends and linebackers and linemen and you name it. They got guys coming in. Are they going to tell you about it? Maybe not. We know that Mario works a little bit different when it comes to this stuff. Just relax. Let it all play out, and we'll be fine. We're playing for a semifinal. We're playing the semifinals of the playoffs, and people are out here all doom and gloom. Like it's exactly how the beginning of our show starts, right? Why? Because we're Miami Hurricanes fans, right? Relax. Chill out. Obviously there's big names out there. Sam Levitt is one of them that I know everybody's talking about. I think that the Canes may have cooled down on them a little bit. Not sure. I know his injury is a big deal.
I thought he was going to Kentucky too.
Yeah, it looks like he might be going to Kentucky. Sorsby signed with Cincinnati. I know.
Texas Tech.
I'm sorry. He went from Cincinnati to Texas Tech. I know the big question mark or the big question period is Dylan Raiola is a big name we keep hearing. Ty Simpson is another one. Is he going to enter the portal? I know he's a big Tennessee guy because he's from Tennessee. Does Miami like him? I know this Austin Simmons, I think, is predicted to go to Missouri now. So that's another name. There's still some names out there that maybe even haven't entered the transfer portal yet, right? I like Miami's options still. I think there's still some good options out there for Miami. I think that we need to just take a step back, enjoy the ride, and go root on your team in the semifinals and let that take its shape and happen.
The other thing is, at some point as a program, we've recruited several, and I'm not talking about Emory Williams. I'm talking about 2 guys after him. Several elite recruits. You gotta play them at some point.
Yeah.
And so I'm not saying you don't go portal hunting, you do, but you have a high bar for what you're willing to accept. You're not just going to grab anyone because you immediately ask the question, is that guy, maybe in game 1, but by game 4 or game 5, is he really better than Luke Nickel? If the answer is no, you don't go that route. And so the way that the system works now, which we discovered this year, you can lose multiple times and still go win the championship. So if you have a young quarterback that you are high on, and the Canes are very high on Nickel and on Coleman, it's not that you won't go get if there's another Carson Beck or Cam Ward. Of course, you'll do that, but you're not going to go to tiers 2 and 3 and just pull a guy because they have snaps. That's not going to do any good for your program. So they're going to be methodical. They're working through it. They always have a plan. I think everyone needs to understand that. Like we after 2 off seasons is a panic. And I will say our quarterback room, if you take Beck out of it, with Coleman and with Nickel, is much healthier than it has been the last 2 off seasons when everyone freaked out and we went ahead and got the best quarterback in the portal. I think I want to just take a deep breath. But if you have to roll with Nickel, this is why you recruit 5-star all-world quarterbacks. It's not to have them just ride the bench every year where you get a portal guy to replace them.
Right. Yeah.
So that way your plan B is actually a very highly touted high school recruit, which is not a bad thing. So I know some people just get someone. No. Relax.
No, you don't just get
you don't need you got that situation.
You get someone, you end up like FSU.
Yeah, exactly. They get someone. They get DJU, and that's like, well, that was all that was there. Like we
don't
that
they got another
DJ.
It looks like we got another DJ going over there too. So
yeah. Lagway coming in this time, and
the only DJ that matters is Danny Gillette, baby.
Hell yeah, I'm definitely better than DJ Lagway. I better be better than DJ Lagway at the very least.
That's a DJ we'll invest in. But
actually, I better be better than DJU too, because boy, that's not a good class.
No, but that's a good point, Jazz. Obviously, we're joking around here, but if the Canes wanted Lagway, they made one phone call. He wouldn't even have to come to campus. He'd be like, "Yes, please, let me." Right? I mean, that's the level. But of course, you don't want that. But you don't want that. That's not the caliber of quarterback. That's not better than what you have in the room. So they're going to continue to be opportunistic. There are still, as Jazz said, there's guys that are going to enter the portal that haven't yet. There's a lot of moving parts still. So take a deep breath. But the Canes already have highly rated, a couple of them, 5-star quarterback recruits. That's how you build depth. So if it's funny, every time we go in the portal, it's like, well, when are we ever going to play the young guys? And now it's like, well, we have to play a young guy. I can't believe you're doing it. You can't win.
Yep. It's crazy. Yeah. We'll be all right. Make sure everybody is ready to go for the game. It is the big game. Miami faces Ole Miss, 7:30 p.m. at the Fiesta Bowl semifinals, with a chance to come back home and play in the national title in front of friends and family and all the Kings fans.
Before we wrap up, let me ask you a question.
Oh God.
Do you think so? I think the college football world as a whole, I think generally is sick of Ohio State. We interacted with their fans for about a week, and that was enough. And so I think generally our win over them was seen as a positive. But I think overall, Miami still not everyone's favorite team, to put it nicely. Do you think the college football fans at large realize that if we win this game, we're playing at home in the championship game? Because I have a feeling if we're ahead as this game unfolds, they're gonna dawn on them in the third or fourth quarter because they'll start talking about it. I don't think that's gonna be well received at all.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. That's gonna be crazy.
I think that is going to be a very negative, visceral reaction from a large part of the country if they realize that we're gonna be hosting the championship game.
Hey, what are you gonna do? I'm not. It is what it is, right?
I do have to say, I did go to a Miami Boston College game in Chestnut Hill, and Hurricanes fans were not my favorite group.
We're nobody.
Say. Well, DJ, I should have you know, you dealt with the better ones, because the ones that are allowed on airplanes and allowed to travel are actually the ones that know how to put their pants on and stuff. You don't know
The ones in
we
the
play
air.
Indiana, Oregon, they have no idea the nonsense they're going to run into with the locals. Those are people that are allowed out of the jurisdiction without ankle monitor. Like, you have no idea.
I mean, the only one that probably understands it is Fernando Mendoza over at Indiana. He'll get it. Aside from that.
Well, that's the other thing, man. Like, I feel like his is going to be a circus. Every primo he's ever met is going to want a ticket, man.
Yeah.
Wow. Ain't that the truth?
She's going to have like 1 million ticket requests. That's going to be a wild time. We
got
to
coming out of the woodworks for this one, man.
We got to take care of all this. But I still don't know, because I hear it so vaguely. Like, obviously you hear references to it, but I feel like it's still not fully like talked about that we might.
I don't think it's hit people yet.
But I think for us, obviously, we've known that the game is going to be at our stadium like all year, because you're like around it. Like, whether we were playing it or not, you knew the national championship game was here. And every time they show like a promo, you're like, oh, that's our stadium, because they like show it in the background. But I don't know that's necessarily clicked with everyone that home game.
Good.
Not making fun of us for a campus stadium now, are you?
Yeah. That's right.
You know where they don't play championship games? On campus. They do play it in NFL stadiums that are updated and modern and host Super Bowls and all that stuff.
Canes, one more game. Actually, 2 more games.
Oh.
2 more games.
Yeah.
But that's it, man. Let's go. We're right there. Let's go. Let's keep focus. These boys are ready to go. They're gonna come out and win, right? And get to the national title. And I'm so excited for this game. And I'm so excited for the players and the coaches that they've gotten to where they've gotten, but the job's not done. And we need one more game to get to the national title. And I fully expect Miami to come out and win again. So make sure you're in front of your TV. Make sure you're in Glendale, Arizona, wherever it is that you are, across the world, across the country. Make sure you're wearing your orange and green. Make sure you're in front cheering your team on as the Miami Hurricanes get set to face Ole Miss Rebels in the semifinal of the college football playoffs Thursday night at 7:30 p.m. in the Fiesta Bowl. Do not miss it. Root on your Canes and help them get back down to Miami Gardens, Florida, where all of us will be there to root them on. Make sure you follow us.
And Indiana and Oregon fans will figure out that Miami Garden's not as nice as it sounds.
Ain't that the truth? And
I don't know where the garden is.
Cane Lake, what's up, man? Make sure you follow us at 6 Ring Canes. Subscribe to the 5 Reasons Canes podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever it is that you get your podcast. Make sure you go into the 5 Reasons Sports Network, subscribe there, and check us out. This is 6 Rings Canes every Monday at 8:30 p.m. And we'll be back to talk a little bit about our victory headed to the national title with Vish and DJ, and then we'll be back Monday night to preview the national title game as well. So
things are happening.
Make sure you
10 a.m. show, Vish. Lay off the booze. No, minimize the booze for at least Friday morning.
Good luck.
I don't drink during our games. I'm locked in, man. I don't even like drink water. I'm just like,
we don't mess around.
I say like 3 words the entire game. I am locked in. You don't want to sit next to me during a game. I was like, what the fuck's going on? I'm focused. Leave me alone.
I know the feeling. Same way. So I don't know what it is. We love you guys. Thanks for watching, for listening in, and keep it locked here on the 6 Rings Canes show Mondays at 8:30 p.m. We'll see you soon, and go Canes.
Go Canes.
The 6 Ring Canes show. Yeah. The 6 Ring Canes show. Yeah. The 6 Rings Canes show. You know.